Hello bellezas, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here then just welcome. Hi, my name is Brenda. I do paranormal videos here on my channel, so if that is something that you are interested in, please consider subscribing down below and turn on your post notifications so you do not miss when I post another video like this one. Now with all of that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into today's video. I pronounced some words weird in the beginning. I don't know what that was. It was like a random accent that came out of nowhere. But hello everybody, welcome to a new video. I hope that you guys are all having a great Friday. My microphone is being a little bit silly right here. Hold on. And that you all have a lovely weekend. And I hope that you are excited for today's topic, which you guys can see by the title. Today I am going to be talking about the Mexican Bigfoot. I had never heard about this, okay? I thought he was over here in the PNW and in Canada. I didn't know he was over there in Mexico too. Like, what's he doing over there? He vacations there, most likely. But this is about El Cuatlacas. And I'm going to be reading off of this article that I found so intriguing. I only skimmed a little bit here and there, so I don't know what is going to be in this article. But I thought I would share it with you guys, and I would do a little read along here and show you guys what the Mexican Bigfoot is all about. Like, who is he? What is he out here doing? And what does he look like? We will find out together in today's video. So strap on in. And if I sound like I'm out of breath, it's because I am. I'm always out of breath. I always sound like I'm crying or like I'm gonna cry. I don't know why my voice wavers so much, so get over it, okay? Just kidding. But thank you for your concern. For the people that think that I'm gonna cry during the videos, I'm not. I just sound like I'm out of breath all the time because I have anxiety up to my neck. No, it's over my neck, okay? Okay, let's do breathing exercises. Alright, enough yapping. Let's get into it. Sometime in the summer of 2011, somewhere in the old-growth pine forest of the Mexican state of Puebla, Hector Lopez and two of his friends were cutting timber illegally in a protected area far away from any human settlement and just off of an old forest road. When they arrived at their designated woodcutting site, they heard animal noises in a nearby thicket of small trees. The grunts and growls were not from any animal that the men were familiar with. They paid little attention to the animal sounds as they revved up their chainsaws and went to the task of cutting timber. After cutting a dozen or so trees, Lopez and his friends still heard the strange animal noises, but closer and in greater intensity. As it was getting darker, the trio lit a bonfire and settled down to rest. Their plan was to load up their truck and leave the forest for the city at first light. After they built the bonfire, the woodcutters noticed a rustling in the trees nearby, with the animal noises that they had heard earlier, even closer than before. Without giving them much time to react, from out of the trees emerged a 9-foot-tall creature, standing upright like a human and covered from head to toe in thick, dark, tangled fur. The creature grabbed one of the felled tree trunks and headed for the truck. One of the three men tried shooting at it, but it just kept coming. They ran down the old forest road to get away. The three men soon happened on some forest rangers, and Lopez related to them the story of their encounter. The rangers did not believe the tale and asked the men to take them to the site of their clandestine lumber operation. While they found no trace of the hairy beast, they found the truck totally destroyed. One of the rangers had said that what they had witnessed was the work of the Cuatlacas, a Bigfoot-like creature that has lived in the high forest of central Mexico since time immemorial. I don't even know what that word means. Hector Lopez told this story to Carlos Evia Cervantes, a reporter for the Mexican online news resource SIPSE.com or SIPSE, I don't know. And it appeared in an article dated November 2nd, 2016. Damn, he took that long to tell his story. That's crazy. When people think of Mexico, thick and seemingly endless mountain forests of oak and pine rarely come to mind. In the central Mexican state of Puebla, such forests exist, and some were not thoroughly explored or mapped until as late as the mid-1800s. The northern third of the state of Puebla is called the Sierra Norte, and many old-growth forests of this area remain untouched and protected by the government. Also, Puebla is home to 3 of Mexico's tallest mountains. Oh my god, I'm gonna butcher this. Popocatépetl. I'll put it right here. I'm not gonna be able to say that. Iztaccíhuatl and Pico de Orizaba, also known as Zitalpet. Oh my gosh, this is so hard. These tall mountains are perennially snow-capped, and their respective environments are reminiscent of the Himalayas or the Alps. Could these inaccessible and harsh environments also be the home of a yet unclassified humanoid? Legends of such a creature called the Cuatlacas reach back into antiquity and have only recently received attention from cryptozoologists or those who study legendary and/or previously unknown animals. The name Cuatlacas possibly comes from an old Totonac dialect and loosely means forest guardian. The word made it into Nahuatl, or the Aztec Empire's language, and then into the local Spanish usage after the conquest. The Cuatlacas is very rarely known outside of the modern Mexican state of Puebla, however, and very few Mexicans have ever even heard of the creature. With the ever-increasing availability of technology and the population and economic pressures being put on the once pristine forested areas of central Mexico, sightings of this creature have been on the increase of late. The Cuatlacas has been described as looking much like the North American Bigfoot or the Yeti of Central Asia, between 7 and 9 feet tall, weighing around 500 to 600 pounds, covered in dark matted hair, with somewhat human-like facial features. The Cuatlacas is hostile to intruders and is very territorial. Local legends say that the creature is the custodian of the forest and dislikes human interference in its habitat, so it is best advised to stay away and let the creature be. It is not known to have a language, just very distinctive grunts and howls, and usually vocalizes its displeasure when humans are around. It has been known to be violent, as in the case of Hector Lopez and his destroyed truck. No physical evidence of the Cuatlacas, bones, fur, blood samples, etc., has ever been found and brought in for scientific analysis. What is left behind often are footprints along with a path of destruction. Encounters with the Cuatlacas are never benign. The creature appears to have a cousin living in the jungles of tropical Mexico and Central America called the Sisimite. Besides its jungle-dwelling cousin, the Cuatlacas has no other Mexican relatives and very few sightings outside the Mexican state of Puebla. The closest Bigfoot sighting is across the border in the United States, almost 1,000 miles away. Although there is no physical evidence of the existence of the Cuatlacas, there may be some archaeological and historical ethnographic evidence that the creature was known to pre-Hispanic peoples in Mexico. A clay artifact dating back 2,000 years found in the Mexican state of Campeche, just a few hundred miles from the supposed current range of the Cuatlacas, nicknamed the Olmec ape, depicts a large, hairy human-like creature. In addition, when Spanish explorers first encountered the complex living indigenous civilizations of central Mexico, they heard stories of the Quinametzin. The Quinametzin were a race of hairy giants who were credited with building many of the cities with monumental architecture that existed in ruin at the time of the Aztec arrival in central Mexico. These hairy giants used to do battle with ordinary humans, but were punished and exiled by the gods for their lack of reverence to them. Great calamities were brought upon the Quinametzin, and their culture and civilization were destroyed, returning them to a more animalistic state. Some modern-day cryptid researchers believe that the Quinametsin were not really a different race or tribe of people at all, or part of ancient Mesoamerican myth, but a reference to the Cuatlacas, or a similar Bigfoot-like creature. As previously mentioned, some of the highest peaks in Mexico are still in a glacial age, and pine forests yield to snowfields at the higher elevations. The harsh environments on the slopes of Mexico's largest mountains have spawned the need for an alpine rescue division of the Park Service and a cadre of trained professionals to assist hikers in peril. Extreme mountaineering has become increasingly more popular in Mexico in the past 20 years, and many experienced park officials and Mexican cold climate mountain climbers have had sightings of the Cuatlacas on the slopes of Mexico's formidable peaks. All the little pictures that they're showing on the side of like the depictions of this Mexican Bigfoot are so creepy because he's like so like lanky. He kind of looks very much like a human, but like covered in hair like top to bottom, and it's like long matted drapey hair. I guess kind of like the Bigfoot that we know of in the PNW, but just something very like eerie, like kind of like a wet dog or something. And he looks so scary in these drawings. Just wanted to say that real quick. One such professional is Guillermo Vidales, who described in an on-camera interview his encounters with the Bigfoot-like creatures on the icy slopes of the volcano Popocatépetl. Oh my god, I cannot say that. He said he was in the Las Grietas area of the mountain on the route to the top of the crater when he saw a tall, thin, dark brown, human-looking being scale the side of the volcano at a very rapid pace. The creature did not wear any equipment, which was strange in such extreme weather. What would have taken an experienced hiker a few hours to climb, the hairy being did it in about 15 minutes. The next day, Vidales and members of his hiking team found tracks in the snow. The huge footprints had what appeared to be indentations of a claw coming from the back of the leg, which probably assisted the being in climbing, much like a hiker's crampon. When the Vidales interview aired, many other experienced hikers came forward with their stories of sightings of tall, hairy humanoids while hiking in the national park that encompasses both these volcanoes. On September 15, 2014, acclaimed Mexican UFO researcher Ana Luis Cid interviewed a man named Jose Antonio Cisneros about his similar experiences on the slopes of Popocatépetl. Cisneros claimed that there are two types of unknown beings that live on the volcano. A small being that is mostly white with large black eyes, which serves as a sort of custodian to the forest. An elemental being, much like the Chanek of Aztec myths and legends. Cisneros also claimed to have contact with the taller, thin, hairy beings reported by many other hikers. Cisneros told Ana Luisa Cid that he believed that the taller, thinner humanoid creatures are part of the UFO phenomenon, and they come directly from extraterrestrial craft, which is a more modern twist to the legend that reaches back thousands of years. As with Bigfoot research in the United States and Canada, research on the Cuatlacas branches off from zoology in the purely paranormal. Researchers are unable to determine if this is some sort of spirit being, something connected to extraterrestrial visitation, or a flesh and blood terrestrial animal previously undescribed. There has been very little investigation by foreigners into this somewhat regional cryptid. As the story of the Cuatlacas becomes known outside of Mexico, perhaps this ancient creature will attract the attention of serious Bigfoot hunters, or perhaps the curious investigators will heed the advice of the locals and just leave the Cuatlacas alone to serve as the guardians of the forest, as they always have been, as they freaking should, because if we humans aren't going to protect the lush forest of our world, who is, you know? They have every right to defend their land and make sure that people aren't cutting down these trees illegally, which is probably why he messed up those people's trucks. He should have come in earlier while they were cutting the trees before they even cut it, and they would have been running out of there without having cut any of the trees down. But either way, it's such an intriguing legend because there are so many witnesses to it and so many different stories that have to do with people like potentially running into it or just seeing footprints. And I think there has been a speculation of it being a creature that comes in and out from like some kind of spacecraft, because there is no trace of them other than footprints. And of course, if they are dying somewhere else in another planet or in their spacecraft, all of their remains are going to be over there, and there's going to be no evidence of them for us to investigate here on our soil. So that's one of the theories. And then also I think there was one about how they think that they are intellectual creatures, so they do something with the remains, like they either cremate it themselves or bury it in specific spots that only they know. Like they're so far out of reach from humans that we will never like end up accidentally running into the graveyards of these creatures. So that it could be another reason why we've never found their remains, is because they are as intellectual as us, that they bury their dead or they cremate their dead, whatever it may be. So we would never be able to find one of their bodies for us to take and research. And if they are the type of creatures to create communities, they would probably also find a way to make sure that they know where we are at all times and avoid those areas. And if we do happen to come in contact with them, it's going to be one of those things where it happens so fast that it's just going to be hearsay. It's just going to be somebody being like, oh my God, you'll never believe what I ran into. And then they can't prove it other than like, I guess the footprints. But at that point you're like, okay, this could have been something faked, which is what happened with like the big footprints that we had like in this area. It's like people thought that they were being faked, that anybody could just do that and then make a cast out of it, you know? So who knows like whether this is something that's real or not. But as they said in the article, this amount of land is so vast that so much of it has been unexplored that it's most likely that something could be hiding in there, just as well as it does in the ocean. Like our ocean takes up like a majority of our planet that we will never be able to explore even like half of it, not even close to half of it. So we will never know what's in like the deepest parts of the ocean, and there could be creatures there that we don't even know that exist, and they're just there, you know? And same thing with this. It's like these areas where it's hard for us to get to with like helicopters or by foot. And then like these creatures, obviously they are built differently. They're super tall, they have maybe claws, and they still have like opposable thumbs and stuff like that, which makes it easier for them to grab things and climb things. They're built differently than us, so of course they're going to be able to reach these areas that we will never be able to, even with the equipment that we have, because it's dangerous and we could easily fall or get hurt and such. So they're probably in these areas where they know that we never get to climb to, or that our helicopters aren't able to land in and stuff like that. And they most likely, if there ever are aircrafts that hover around that area, they can recognize the sound of it and they know when to like hide and stuff like that. Because I know that with helicopters you can also get one of those infrared lights or whatever. You can like detect heat, and I feel like even with using that, maybe we would be able to capture something in the woods, unless they're cold-blooded. I don't know. There could be so many different things with this, but I found it so interesting, and I want to know about the other one too. There was this what did they mention here? Their cousin, the Sisamite. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but they also had that which is in the jungles of Mexico. So this is the more like hot area. The area in Puebla is more like here, like in Washington, I'm guessing, more like a lush forest with pine trees and stuff like that. This seems to be like the more jungle tropical area. So this would be in like Campeche, Chiapas, Quintana Roo, Cancun, places like that. So this one is another one who also looks very like lanky, like very orangutan looking. And these are all kind of just depictions, drawings of them, and also from like Mayan or Aztec lore, from like things that they depicted in drawings or in statues that they made and stuff like that. So I think I'm gonna cover that one in another episode, but let me know what you guys think I should do. But yeah, that is basically the gist, and that is who Mexican Bigfoot is. He's just out here protecting the forest because that's his home, first of all, and then he knows that the things in this forest are important. Something that we don't seem to get through our head. Like, humans are like, cut them all down, cut all the trees down, we need more money out of these. And obviously for like supplies and shit, we're always like, we need more, even though we are overproducing stuff all the freaking time. I can't with us. We're so annoying. But yeah, he is the custodian. The custodian part was just like, I guess, like, he's like not getting paid for this. This is something that he does just because this is his home. And he's like, I'm going to protect my home, and I'm not going to let anyone like take away our resources and all that. So very cool, very fun little cryptid story. I always am so intrigued by a good Bigfoot story, especially somewhere else that's not here, because I've heard all of it here, we've all heard about the Yeti, but it's still really fun to explore that whole thing and be, and really get to thinking, could it be real? Could they be real? It's like, it's pretty possible. It's not the most impossible thing ever to consider to be a real creature. I have heard of crazier things, and if we can believe in La Llorona, we can believe in Bigfoot, I am very curious to know if it could possibly be something extraterrestrial, like Chewbacca. He's out here from another planet, and he is also traveling through spacecrafts. Who says that Bigfoot can't? But anyway, I'm yapping now. I'm just talking about how much I enjoy this topic. But let me know what you guys thought. Is this something that you guys want me to cover more? Should I do a video on the Sisamite? Hopefully I'm saying that right, because it's gonna be so embarrassing. I mispronounced a lot of words in this, so what are you gonna do? That's gonna be it for today's video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you did make it all the way to the end, make sure to comment a shoe emoji. I don't know. I was trying to correlate something to foot. I don't think there's a foot emoji, and that's weird. People are gonna think I have a foot fetish or something. So we're gonna do a shoe, okay? Leave a shoe in your whatever comment you leave me down below. That way I know who stayed all the way to the end. And also, before I end today's video, today's comment shout out goes to this person right here. Thank you so much for leaving a nice comment. As always, I really do appreciate it, and it really makes my day. And if you want to be the next comment shout out, all you have to do is leave me a nice comment down below, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate you being here and making it all the way to this point, because not a lot of people do. Trust me, I know. And that's why me and you are besties. Yes, we are, always. I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to stay safe and be kind. Bye.